morning. So the other day after my post, I got a lot of questions about the prayer box that I made and how to make one, what I do, and I totally can appreciate that because this was one of those things that's actually kind of hard to find, but when I found it, I was like, this is perfect. And honestly, if I'm going to be completely honest, making sure that I have time for prayer every day is one of those things that um, tended very easily to get pushed to the wayside. And with the prayer box that I use, it's just so much easier. Like it just it doesn't call to me. I mean, not literally, but it's like it's there. And if I see it around, I'm like, oh, I got to do my prayers. So I try to do it first thing in the morning before everybody's up. But if for whatever reason, it's my coffee maker. Sorry. If for whatever reason I can't, then I can take these with me wherever I go. Like I've taken them on the plane, I can take them in the car, or for traveling, whatever. So it makes it super, super easy, and I don't ever forget them, which I love. So I'm gonna start first with the actual like physical how I made the box. So the box itself I got at the bookstore at our church in Orlando, First Baptist Orlando, and they just had these. So I'm gonna assume I looked online. You can actually just look up on Amazon. They have prayer boxes. So just find one that you like. I loved this one and I got it for Christmas and was like, yes, this is what I want. But inside of it came, oops, not those cards. It came a stack of cards, and on the back of them it has, oh, you can see that, but it's kind of bright. But on the back of them it has like little prayers and stuff like that, which was really great. But that's not what I needed them for. I needed them for this side, which has lines. So if you look at them, I mean, it's just because of the size of the box, but they're basically the same size as like an index card. You could use a recipe box, an index card box, decorate it. I mean, just make it your own. Just make it something fun and something that you're gonna want to go and do. I mean, I look at this and I'm like, it's so pretty. I love it. It's so cute. So it inspires me to get my prayers on. So that's number one, it's the physical box and your cards. So basically, all you need is just regular cards. Now, I will say, when these cards ran out, I just went and picked up a package of these, which they have kind of everywhere, which are like the adult coloring cards, but on the back they're blank, and so I used those. All these have like scriptures and things like that on them, so that was pretty cool. But so how did I actually start the prayers? Because the box is just superfluous information. The most important thing is your actual content of prayers. So that one was pretty easy because this, like some other people who have mentioned to me, they have notebooks or like just writing down on papers and put it on the walls. So this was all inspired by, or this for me was inspired by The War Room, the movie The War Room. And after I saw that movie, I was like, no, I got to get serious about prayer. There was a lot going on in my life that just needed some serious attention. And so I had a great closet in Orlando at the time and just would write down my prayers and stick them on the walls and things like that. And then I was like, some of these I pray every day, and so I just read them off of the wall. So instead, what I did was, like I said, I got the box, but it all stemmed from this book by Priscilla Schreiber. It's called Fervent. If you have not read this book, I highly, highly, highly cannot recommend it more. It will completely refocus and reshape your prayers and how you pray. So there's like, it's highlighted to the nth degree for me, but one of my favorite lines in here is that prayer is the portal that brings the power of heaven down to earth. It is the kryptonite to the enemy and to all his ploys against you. I don't know if it's just because she used kryptonite and that speaks to me, but yeah, and it's true. And I was like, that's it. Prayer is so important in our lives, as women, as moms, as dads, as single moms, as whatever your situation is in life, as just a single person. Prayer can literally change your life, and I've seen it happen over and over and over again. It did in mine. It's worked literal health miracles in my family's life, and it's the one thing that the enemy knows. If he can keep you from praying, it will it has just an open door into your mess with your family and with you. So it's just a really good thing to be able to do. So here's what happens. In it's on page 21 of this book. She kind of gives an outline of the best way to be able to pray. So you start with praise, and then you go into repentance, then into asking, making your request known, and then a yes. And because God is the God of yes, no matter what. His timing is always perfect, and He is perfect. So you just agree with God about the things that He said yes to you in your life for. So in that section, in my prayer cards are actually a little bit smaller, but it's basically to remind yourself that you are holy and loved and a child of God, and that greater is He that is in you than he that's in the world. And it's all those things that you really need to kind of remember. But it's all outlined in the book. So it's just a fantastic book. And so a lot of the prayers that I actually have came from here. Other ones I have came from Stormy O'Mardian, Power of a Praying Mom, Power of a Praying Wife. There are some really, really, really amazing prayers in there as well. Honestly, some of them I found on Pinterest. I just went in and I was like, I have on my Pinterest page, which is just, I think it's just Dawn Krebs, you can look it up. But it just says, it's War Room Prayers, and in there's just a whole bunch of prayers that I found, like just through different devotionals and just like mom groups and stuff like that are just some amazing prayers. So here's the meat of it. What I mess these up. Let's see. All right. So here's the first thing that I do, and this one 100% came from Pinterest because I was like, this is a phenomenal idea. This first section is actually what's called a prayer walk. So I start with this card, which is the only one that I really colored, because who has time to color? And then kind of go through each one. But a prayer walk begins at the front of your house. So literally, physically walk. This is the only set of cards that I usually pray out loud. Every so often, I just feel like the need to pray out loud. So I'll pray all of them out loud, but most of the time, these ones, 100% I do. And I literally physically walk through each room of my house, praying each one of the prayers that are on these cards. And again, you can find them on Pinterest. If you just look up house or prayers for my house, it'll pop up with a prayer walk for your house. And so I'd just walk into each room praying the prayers out loud that are on these set of cards. And I usually start with that. The next set, I have my contacts in, so it's kind of hard to see with my old eyes. The next set is just kind of, this one is just kind of prayers that I've picked up. It's, I'll just tell you how it starts, so just so you get a general idea. Lord, teach me to pray through me and intercede for me. Increase my capacity for prayer and your word. Help me to remember and pray your word. Make me an intercessor and use me to intercede for others. And I don't remember where that one came from, but I loved it, and I was like, yeah. So anyway, the rest of them are kind of just opening prayers. So again, just whatever the Lord lays on your heart is what you would do. Then what I did, I'm like, I love colored pens, so all mine are color coded. So they praise in the very beginning, that's just prayers of praise. Most of those came from Priscilla Shriver. Prayers of repentance. And then these are prayers of asking, that the majority of these actually were almost directly from Fervent. As I went through each chapter, she goes through about 10 different steps as to the areas where the enemy really attacks you, and then in each of those she has an ask. So I just continued to add more and more as I went through the book and added more prayers in. And then here's my yes, standing in agreement with the Lord about the things that He has already promised. And then I've found some really amazing prayers for my boys and my man. But that's what these are. There's a prayer for the men of this house, and then there is a prayer for my boys, and then the one that I wound up finding the other day that came from Stormy O'Mardian. This is my battle prayer. This is my full-on out loud on my face, battle prayer, for all the men in my house. And then, um, actually, there's three more cards of those. And then after that, I start breaking it down. So, just kidding. So this is my prayer for my boys. So each day, and I name each one of them off. So I have three cards that are every day for them, because they're just everyday prayers. And then these I found on Pinterest. So, and there's two different sets that I liked. I started with one, and then they just weren't as powerful as I needed them to be. So I went back and tried to find some other ones. But again, if you're a genius prayer or writer, or you can do anything you want. But some of these are just prayers that came from my heart too. So it's not like it was a formula, but I'm one of those like list followers. Like, give me a list and I can follow it. I love lists. So finding something that's already kind of laid out for me just helps me. So then, each day for my boys, they have, they're color coded. So I have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So they go through each day, and those are just specific prayers I pray on a specific day. And then after that, I have prayers for my future daughter-in-laws, and prayers for them. And then last but not least, there's prayers for my hubby. And same thing, there's a couple that I pray, like these ones are every day, and then the rest of these are just one per weekday. So, and then just FYI, since I didn't specifically say, but like my family and friends prayers and things like that, those are kind of all in the asking section. So that's it. That's how I use my prayer box. I hope this helps you guys. Prayer is an essential part of the Christian life, and it's so easy to forget, to just let it slip by and not see it as important, and it really is. So I hope this is encouraging. I hope you guys like it, and if you get your prayer boxes together, post them for me. Let me see what you did, and I hope this helps. All right, love y'all. Bye.